Welcome to the ripple effect of love for dads and families. Today, in episode 105, we're looking at how to make your kids feel loved. I know that you love your children. There is no doubt in my mind, and we all know that. However, do they feel it? Sometimes what makes them feel loved isn't what you might expect. So, we're going to break that down to see what really matters to them. Some of your children will be exactly like you, will have that same love language, but others will be the opposite. And if you're going through a divorce or have been divorced for a while, your child might have their their your spouse's your ex-spouse's love language, and that can be a bit challenging sometimes. So we're going to look at all that and see how I can support you in this. So there are two gentlemen. There's Dr. Gary Chapman wrote a book called The Five Love Languages of Children, and it was co-authored with Dr. Ross Campbell. And what they do is they describe the different ways children feel loved and emotionally connected. So if you don't know what your child's love language is, how can you be able to connect emotionally with them? And each child typically resonates most strongly with one or two of these languages. And when you can understand that, you can help yourself foster a deeper, trusting connection with them. So, the first one is called words of affirmation. And what does that mean? What does that look like? It's all about being able to say, I'm proud of you. How does your child react when you say, I'm proud of you? You're amazing. Or I love the way you tried your best. And this is so important because these encouraging words will boost a child's self-esteem and will help them, feel their inner value. Now, this is not for every child. So, what is it that lights up your child so that they feel like, they count? And yeah. Okay, so let me continue. And then there's the acts of service. What does that look like, right? It's when you help them with their homework. How do they like that, or do they not like that? When there's something that's broken and you fix the toy, how do they respond to that? Or preparing their favorite snack. So when you're doing an act of service for them, they feel amazing. They feel loved. And why would that matter? Whether it's for your child or for your spouse or partner, this love language helps you feel loved in a way that is meaningful to your brain, to your emotional state. So, if an act of service is what is the uh, primary love language for your child, they will feel loved when you do these things for them that make their lives easier, or that make them feel, it'll make them feel really good on the inside. It'll make them feel loved. So it could be teaching them a new skill, helping them up with cleanup on a day that they're tired. It's not doing it for them. There's a distinction to be had here. Or preparing a warm bath after a rough day. Those are just small examples of what can be done to support your child on their so that they feel loved by you. Because I know you love your kids. Of course you do. We all do. But I didn't know this when my kids were growing up. So it's time to discover. I only discovered this a few years ago. So, number 3, receiving gifts. And what does it look like to receive gifts? Well, thoughtful presents. It doesn't have to be big. It can be super small. It can be as small as while you're walking, you pick up a heart-shaped rock and you give it to them, right? Or they have a stamp collection, and there might not be many kids today that have stamp collections, but find something else. And it's just a small surprise. Oh, it could also be a small surprise left under the pillow for them to discover when they go to bed or when they wake up. Why is this important? Well, the gift, it's not the size of the gift that's important, it's the symbol, because it symbolizes love and presence for them, how they register it. So, especially if it has a meaning behind it. You never take much time with them, but you sat down with them and you both drew a picture and they really liked your picture or your drawing and you give it to them. You don't have to be the best artist. Kids don't care about that. It's the meaning in the picture, right? In the drawing that will be important for them. So, number 4, quality time. What does that look like? It looks like you give them 100% of your attention when you have this one-on-one time with them without allowing distractions. You can say, I've got 15 minutes for you right now. I'm turning my phone off for 15 minutes. Let's, whatever it is. If you have a full day, go for it. Enjoy it. It does not have to be long moments of time, but it needs to be that your attention is 100% on there. I still remember when my daughter went to the private junior kindergarten school, and Mrs. Quinn, this lady was amazing at making children feel important. When one child was talking to her, everything else happening around the two of them was unimportant to her. She only focused on that one child. Now, if you have more than one child, what might that look like? They're tugging at you, they're yelling, using, oh, give me a minute or give me 2 minutes, or just pausing for a second and saying, I'll be with you in a bit. Right now, it's my undivided attention with this child. So this is a way of setting boundaries with the other children so that the child that needs this quality time is getting it without interruptions from all of them. And it could be just a hand signal. It could be, you develop it over time. If you practice this consistently week after week, your other children will understand quickly. They'll go, oh, Dad is speaking with, I need to just wait a little bit. And they can sit beside you and wait, or they can go in another room and do something. And when you're done, though, do go take care of them, because that will reinforce the boundaries of, awesome job, you waited till I was done. Why does quality time matter for certain children? Because it makes them feel loved. And when you're present, engaged, and interested in what they're doing, it's beautiful. Think about it. Quality time is one of my big values because it makes me feel loved and it makes me feel like I'm important in the eyes of the person who is giving me that one-on-one time. It can also be playing board games with your children together. It can be going for a walk. Maybe you've got 5 children, but what if you have only one child that likes quality time? Can you take time to go for a walk with that one child, especially if they like that, or reading a book aloud, or just talking? It doesn't need to be expensive things. It just needs to be, I'm present, I'm here for you, I'm listening to you. And number 5, the physical touch. So, what does that look like? It looks like hugs. It looks like cuddles. It looks like high fives. As your children get older, they may not want the hugs and the cuddles, and they definitely don't. But high fives and a low five, they will love. Um, they might like a back rub, or even some of the boys might like to do a bit of rough housing with you. And that is an excellent way. Of course, you want to have boundaries if you're allowing rough housing, because the person, if you have a child that does not like rough housing, I still remember this family. One of the kids, one of the teenagers, loved rough housing, and the older one didn't. And he was like, really, I like peace, I like calm. And the other, his younger brother was like, come on, let's go, let's do it. Well, I can see today that for this other child, it was the physical touch, and the rough housing is how he felt loved. And how do you get these two sons to get along and to respect each other? Maybe the rough housing can be done with you, Dad. Have fun with it. Or maybe you've got another amazing idea. Why this matters? Well, because physical closeness helps these children feel secure, feel safe, and emotionally nurtured. So you're feeding them emotionally, you're helping them build their resilience. And often in the Snap, Tap, Zap, I've said, you can ask, do you need a hug? Well, that's a physical touch. That child needs that to feel loved. Another child may not want the hugs at all. They may need for you to sit down and have a conversation. So then that's a different, the words of affirmation where you're just doing this. Okay. Oh, other examples of physical touch would be snuggling while you watch a movie. Some kids love it, others don't. Could be holding hands, walking with your little ones and holding hands. Obviously, the teens will not want this. Okay, I know, and I agree. You've got to find other ways to help them to comfort them so that they feel loved. And you can ask them. I remember at one point, my son was like, I don't want hugs. I'm in high school, right? And he was right. And I said, I'm okay with not giving you hugs, but your little sister, who's almost 7 years younger, really wants it. Is there another way that you could show her love? And he said, I can give her piggyback rides. Wasn't that beautiful? So she would hop on his back, and she was so excited, and she felt loved by her brother because there was a physical contact from the piggyback ride, and she just thought it was the funniest thing, bringing her to her bed from her bedroom to, getting her teeth brushed or whatever it was. He could just give her quickly a piggyback ride, and that was really cool for her and really important, and made her feel loved by her older brother. So it's really about finding those ways. You've got to be creative. It's not always easy to be creative, but there are many, many other ways of showing those 5 different love languages. And what I also wanted to share is that studies show that children who consistently receive affection in their primary love language, excuse me, they tend to have a higher emotional intelligence, so better behavior and stronger attachment bonds. We haven't talked too much about attachment, but a child who feels attached to you will be able to listen better, will be able to have those conversations and those shifts with you. So if you'd like to look up Dr. Gary Chapman and Dr. Ross Campbell, The 5 Love Languages of Children, it was published in 1997 and updated in 2012. So I think it's really important you can do for you as a dad, for your family, with your children, and with your spouse or partner. This is really cool to help you understand each other. Because if you believe that quality time is the most important, and you keep giving quality time to your spouse or your partner, but them it's receiving gifts, so they are not feeling loved because you're not filling their cup of their love language. Hope this makes sense. I'm putting together like a quiz sheet. If you would like it, email me or DM me below, and I will be happy to help you do this quiz that shows what's your child's love language. It'll be ready by tomorrow. Okay, so what else can we say today? Whoops, I lost my spot here in my notes. I want to stay. So this is how you can show love in an important way that truly lands for your child, right? And can you teach your child what your love language is when you have that conversation, when you discover what it is, right? And of course, if it's talking and listening and you're triggered by things, what can we do? We can snap, tap, relax, and zap that out so that you can shift from the automatic parenting way of doing in the past. If you have been doing this, you were raised that way and you've done it that way and you've never looked at your child's love language, it's the first time you hear about it, you will need to shift from the old way of doing things to the intentional connection that you want to have through their love language. So let's breathe in. Pay attention to your resistance. Where is it in your body? Relax the shoulders and blow that onto the spiraling train. You can do this many times. Maybe you have resistance to implementing something like this. It's okay. Let's breathe in, relax the shoulders, and exhale that out. Put it in the spiraling train to be burned by the magma. There we go. And another deep breath if it's thoughts that keep haunting you. Something like OCD sometimes, right? So take a deep breath. Tapping around the ears, relax the shoulders, and send that into the hot air balloon. Just letting all the energy around that, around the weight of those words, just be released. So, how do your kids show you love? Their answers might surprise you. So, take the time. Not when you've got only 2 minutes. Well, you can if you want, but I recommend you take time when you really have some time. It might take 2 minutes, but it might take more time. So, how do your kids show you love? And how do you show your kids love? So, if you want to strengthen that connection with your kids, let's work on it together. There's my QR code. You can book a free call, and I will be excited to support you on your journey. So, much love. Take care of yourselves, dads. Remember, self-love is your step one. So none of this was said so that you would criticize yourself. This is like, oh, which of this can I implement that will help me on my journey to leaving a legacy of love to my beautiful children, to raising children who have emotional resilience and function much better in everyday life. So, without further ado, have a great end of day, and I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the ripple effect of love.